Hey, welcome back to the channel, everybody. Today's adventure, Boomer and I are out with the Jeep and a heated rooftop tent. This is a brand new rooftop tent, and I've got the old diesel heater here. The issue we're having today is this is the first time I'm using this tent, and the first time I'm running a heater in the tent. So this tent is actually fixed with an inlet on the driver's side for a hose to go in. However, there's nowhere to place the diesel heater. Ideally, I would like to place it in the rack like I have been doing in the past with a different rooftop tent. But today, this tent actually has an inlet, so I'm going to try and hang the diesel heater on the side of the Jeep where the ladder is. Now, interestingly, my Jeep has a roof rack that has ladders built into it, which means I don't have to use the factory ladder that comes with the rooftop tent. I'm going to simply climb up the side of the Jeep and get into the tent on both sides. But today I'm going to sacrifice one side, hang the diesel heater on that side, and I'll be entering the tent through the other side. If I wanted to, I could set up the ladder and enter in through the front, but obviously I'm going to be cooking in this area, so that's not going to work. So I've got to get some string, rig this up on the side of the Jeep, make sure it's working for later on this evening, because it is -6 degrees Celsius right now, and it's supposed to go down to about -10 to -12 degrees Celsius tonight. It's going to be cold, and that is the only source of heat. So let's get started. Alright guys, so I've got the diesel heater set up on the side of the Jeep utilizing the ladder system. It is a messy setup at first glance. I know that it will get better and improved going forward in the future, but this will work no problem. Ideally, I would like one of those tire mounted tables that put the diesel heater down below. Keep in mind, I do have an awning here, and right now the awning's not going to be used today, but if I did want to use that awning, I wouldn't want a huge table mounted diesel heater taking up my walking space. So I will be mounting some kind of holder up here that I can mount the diesel heater very quickly, and that way I can still use the awning, because if I wanted to use the awning, I could simply take the duct hose and go underneath of the awning. Today I just decided to go over top just for simplicity, but everything is set up and ready to go. So I've got the air inlet back here, the exhaust over here. I can angle that towards that way if I want to. As long as it's going out away from the vehicle, we're totally fine. I do have a Jackery 2000 Pro that I'm going to be putting up top inside of the tent with me, and that's where the electrical cable is going to plug in via 12 volt. And I do have a remote for this diesel heater, so I can sit up top and operate it remote and hands-free. So all that'll work out really, really well. Everything looks good. It is full of diesel fuel right now. I also have extra diesel fuel just in case, but ideally I don't think I'll be going through that whole tank this evening. I think we'll be camping out next to the campfire, enjoying a little bit of heat there, and then once we crawl up into the tent, we'll flick that on. But everything looks good. Diesel heater done. It is time for a hot coffee. Alright guys, so I've got a cup of hot coffee on the go right now. Absolutely frozen hands, like frozen stiff. I do have a pair of gloves on. I'm going to put them on. It's just really difficult working with some of the finer dexterity things, you know, the little stove and the lids and working the camera and all that stuff. But my hands and my face is starting to freeze. It is -7 degrees Celsius right now. So this hot coffee, I do have a lid on it and is cooling off very quickly. But it's still very good. My water jug is frozen solid. I had to beat the crap out of that just to get the water to make this. It's still out in the cold. So I would like to have a campfire to warm up, and I am going to be lighting the diesel heater later on this evening as well to keep the tent nice and warm. I did bring a -20 degrees Celsius sleeping bag, so regardless, we will be warm no matter what, just like we always are. The diesel heater is a luxury and the campfire is a luxury, but those have to be worked for. So I did have to set up the diesel heater. That's done and ready to go. The campfire pit in front of me, someone has built this. I have not been out in this location in a long time. And someone has camped here very recently because it only snowed about 4 days ago. And someone's obviously been here camping. The bonus with that is they left a little bit of firewood. Unfortunately, it looks a little bit green, so I'm not sure if it's going to burn. I might have to get some more to go with it. They've also brought a whole bunch of scraggly trees into this area. Like I said, some of it looks like it'll burn, some of it I'm not sure about, but we'll see what happens. There are a couple dead standing trees in the distance. I do have my saw and my electric chainsaw and my axe. So I think what I'm going to do is finish up my coffee, get Boomer put into the rooftop tent with a down sleeping bag, because he's getting a little bit cold. He can only be out in this stuff with small doses without a campfire. With the campfire, come on. With the campfire, he's good. He can just park his butt right in front of it. But as you can see, his beard is starting to collect snowballs. His feet are collecting snowballs, and he is noticeably cold. Now, he's usually pretty good. He'll come to me when he gets cold. He hasn't come to me yet. He's been running around chasing birds and squirrels, but sometimes he gets a little carried away, and then he gets very, very, very cold. So I'm going to get him out of his sweater, up into the tent with a down sleeping bag. He'll be nice and warm. And then once I get the fire lit, I can bring him back out, and yeah, we'll just go from there. So a little bit of coffee, some firewood prep, hopefully get the fire lit, get this guy warmed up and dry, all the snowballs out of his beard. And yeah, that'll probably bring us to supper time. We'll start cooking some supper. So very excited to be up in that tent later on tonight with that heater. I know he is too, so we'll do what we need to do during the daytime to get to the evening warmth. So cheers guys, we're going to enjoy this coffee, get this guy taken care of, and get in the woods and look for some firewood. Alright guys, so cutting up some of the wood that's been left over from the previous people. Some of it is actually dry and dead and good to burn. There's a couple pieces that are really nice actually, and I would consider burning this inside of a hot tent wood stove. Other pieces are very visibly still green. I mean, this is a piece of spruce, very, very green, full of sap, full of life. I'm guessing what they did is they cut these to make stands for tarps, because some of them are chafed off or chamfered off on the ends. It looks like they used it for cooking or to prop up tarps or maybe teepees, I don't know. But these are still very, very green. They will burn eventually, but it's not going to be used for starting a fire. So unfortunately, that's not starting fire material. So I'm just kind of separating a couple pieces here that I know are good fire starting material, and the others will burn once it dries out from the heat of the fire. So the couple pieces behind me that I just found over there in the snow, it's all birch. It sounds really, really nice. Like when you hit it together, it sounds like dry wood. It's actually not. It's still green. That sound is just because it's frozen solid. So there's liquid in that, it's frozen. It will burn, but again, it's gonna have to dry out around the fire. So I still need to find wood that's gonna get the fire lit. And then fuel it from there. There's a lot of trees around here with dead limbs. That's gonna be my target. I'm gonna go around, clean up any dead branches off the trees, get them over here, and then I'll try and source out 1 or 2 decent dead standing trees, bring them back, and prep them. Boomer's still up inside of the tent with the diesel heater, totally warm. That is going to be a treat up there later on, but right now I've got to get to work. It is cold, my hands are wet now that I got the gloves on. That's the downside of wearing gloves, is they get wet and then they get cold, which is why I often don't bother with gloves until I'm around camp nice and relaxed. So let's get back to work and just keep stacking this wood, and hopefully we'll be able to light a fire soon. Alright guys, probably took about 45 minutes to an hour just walking around this woodland. Collected a big stack of about wrist diameter logs here, trees that are seasoned and dry, working up a massive sweat doing so, but I am confident there's more than enough wood here to have a nice campfire for the evening. So this is primarily all hardwood. There's a couple pieces of softwood trees in here, but the bulk of this is hardwood, which is great. It'll burn low and slow. I can add a lot more on to really flare it up, and it'll put out a ton of heat to dry out some of the remaining wood around here that is green or a little bit wet. So now I've got to get to work prepping all of this and then hopefully be able to light a fire. That's the beauty of fire. You get warm 3 times. You got to collect it, you got to prep it, and then you got to burn it. So let's get to work. Alright guys, I've got the campfire going. It's going really well right now, putting out a decent amount of heat. I don't want to burn it very fast and big right now. The sun's still up in the sky. It's coming in at twilight hour though, that blue hour. Sun is setting. So I really want to save that wood for later on in the night. But I do need to start cooking. I'm starving, I'm cold. I don't really want to be bumping around in the dark, having to mess around with stuff. So just going through a bag that I have here. And I didn't really plan a meal on this trip. I did bring 2 nice big plump chicken breasts, and looking around here there is a grill over next to the fire pit, so I can cook these over the fire if I wish to. I also have a pot, frying pan, and cook stove, but I think cooking this over the fire will be the best bet. So pop those in the refrigerator outside. I also brought a little container of sliced green onion and sliced red onion. I have a pack of hamburger buns here, and like I said, I didn't plan a meal, so I'm just going through what I have handy in the Jeep at this current moment. Also got some awesome brews for later on this evening that I've got to get out in the refrigerator, the snowbank. So I've got that, and I've got some chicken seasoning, but I also have 2 packs of spicy ramen. Now, one of them is curry. I'm thinking what I might do is just take out the sauce, the seasoning packet out of this, and use that spicy sauce as a drizzle to basically make chicken burgers. So if I cut those chicken breasts in half, I'll end up with 4 pieces because I've got 2 breasts. Cook those over the fire. I got some onions and some other things. Take the sauce out of this, make a sauce, toast the buns, have some chicken burgers. Or I could cut the chicken up and add it to the ramen noodles, but I'm kind of in the mood for those chicken burgers, so I think I'm going to do the curry. I will save the other pack of ramen. I'll just toss them up there. The reason why I'm kind of short on food is I just cleaned out the Jeep not long ago, and I took my entire food bag out and I put it into the camper van. I forgot to put it back in the Jeep. So I just wanted to get out here, have some fun, enjoy the tent, enjoy a campfire, a couple brews, nice cold crispy night, just enjoy the outdoors. So I think that's what I'm going to do. I want to get a little cleaned up here. I also brought some coconut oil because I intended on cooking this in the frying pan, but we got the grill there, so campfire saying cook me over the fire, so that's what we're going to do. I'm going to get organized and then start cooking some food. Alright guys, supper is all finished up and cozying up to this fire, trying to get my feet warm. My feet are dry. In fact, my whole body's dry, but my feet are frozen cold, very, very cold. I've been doing a little bit of musical chairs around the campfire, so when I first lit it, the smoke was going that way behind me. And now it seems to be swirling, doing all kinds of weird things right now. And it's odd because there's really no wind in the air right now, but going around, my eyes are bloodshot, my nose is all runny. The smoke is absolutely creating a huge problem. So I'm going to try and enjoy this campfire. I've got all kinds of wood still here. I would like to sit out and burn it. We got clear skies up here, like the stars should be out any minute now. It's actually quite late and it's going to be dark here in just moments. So I got to get my feet nice and warm and enjoy a little bit of this campfire without the smoke. It's always the catch-22 with campfires is it worth it? Is it going to be enjoyable? Yes, tonight it is worth it. We're just waiting on that enjoyable part. If the smoke would stop, then absolutely it'd be enjoyable because this heat is definitely pumping. Oh, so good. So, a little bit about the rooftop tent. Funny story for you guys if you're wondering. I did just install it on the Jeep, and I did literally moments before a snowstorm. So I had a friend come out and help me mount this to the Jeep. I made custom rails for it because I didn't have any rails. Come to find out, we decided to crack open the tent on the ground just for a moment, and there were rails inside of the tent. Even though the company told me there were no rails, there were rails. So we ended up ripping off the custom-made rails, putting on the factory rails, getting it mounted, getting it figured out. It was a process. Literally, about an hour after it was mounted to the Jeep, dumped on in my area with like a foot to maybe a foot and a half of snow. The last opportunity to get that on the roof, so I'm very, very happy that went up there. And it actually happened on my birthday. So I'm very happy with that. It was like a Christmas, or a birthday gift, sorry. So very happy with that. So it is mounted. It's an interesting unit because it has a kind of like a 270 awning. So if it's pouring with rain, you can still exit and kind of leave the mesh open and come in and out of the tent without getting wet. So I think that's going to be great during the summertime. It has built-in LED lights, which is great. I'm going to be plugging that into the Jackery later on this evening to light up the whole tent. And that diesel heater vent is a game changer to have that pop in. Not that it's a big deal because you could just stick it in the door and zip it up like I did on my other rooftop tent, which is what a lot of people do. But this one actually has a vent, which is quite nice. So yeah, a little funny story. Got that mounted and then dumped on with snow. And that's the reason why this is the first outing with it and the first time really using it. So far, so good. I'm actually excited to get up there later on tonight, get that diesel heater turned on, and yeah, relax up there and just enjoy. It is extremely fast setup and extremely fast tear down, which is a game changer for me. Being a hard shell, I really wanted a hard shell roof tent for quite some time. The soft ones are really good, but they take a lot of time to set up and a lot of time to pack up, and it is a huge, huge deal breaker when it's raining or freezing cold outside with snow or windy. This tent, fold it down minutes, like 2 minutes, done, and everything's good to go. And it's armored too, so when you're going through these trees smacking on branches, it's a hard shell, it's not going to get ripped. So I'm very happy with that. If anybody has any questions about that, it is from Nature Nest. Great looking tent. I'll let you guys know in the morning how I like it after my first night in freezing cold, because it is going down to, like I said, -10, -12 Celsius tonight, and that diesel heater is going to be cranking some heat in there all night long. I kid you not. So I do have to top off the diesel heater as well. I did stop at a gas station on the way out here, filled up my little jerry can with diesel. I'll top off the heater, and we'll also take a look at how much heat I actually used, or how much diesel I used to make heat throughout the entire night. And yeah, we'll go from there. So I'm talking and I'm shivering at the same time. It's a little difficult. The heat is now starting to come in. The smoke is starting to kind of dissipate a little bit. So I'm just going to kick back for a little while, guys. I'm going to enjoy my drink, warm my feet up, and yeah, we'll take it from there. So cheers, guys. Let's enjoy the campfire. All right, guys, just jumping up into the rooftop tent right now. I've already done all my cleanup outside, brushed my teeth, did my cleanup, all that fun stuff. Whatever I didn't need, I put down in the Jeep. Whatever I felt I need, and that's kind of an overstatement because I brought a lot of stuff up here that probably shouldn't have. I mean, I've got snacks up here enough for like 3 days, plus a bag full of snacks. Don't ask why. I just brought the whole bag. It was frozen, so I figured bring the whole bag up and thaw it out whenever I want. I'll kind of pick and choose what I want out of it. Yeah, I got a lot. So I'll give you guys a little bit of a tour of what I've got going on up here. This is a 2-person tent, but it is kind of a snug 2-person tent. Like, if I were up here with my partner, it would be totally fine. If I were up here with a friend, it would be a little tight. Do you know what I mean? Like, shoulder width. Yeah, so they classify it as a 2-person tent. I would say, like I said, if you're up here with your dog, or if you're up here with children, or if you're up here with your partner, someone that you don't mind kind of like being in their personal space, you know what I mean? Like family, maybe like a close friend, it's not a problem. But if I were up here with like bro friend, it would be way too close for me. It's just my personal preference. So I have everything that I need up here. Sleeping bag, brand new sleeping bag. This is not just brand new to me, but brand new on the market. This is from Nortent. This is the Ling sleeping bag, down -20, black and coyote tan, center zip. Beautiful sleeping bag. I love this thing. And it even has little armholes, so you can actually reach out and have your hands mobile while inside the sleeping bag, which is great. In the morning, you want to make coffee, or if you need to do certain things, you know, whatever you're doing, if you want to sit there and text, you can be in your sleeping bag doing your thing. So this -20 boost down monster is going to be my warmth for tonight. So realistically, the diesel heater could get shut off and I would be totally fine. But what I plan on doing is basically just unzipping it and using it kind of like a little bit of a throw, a little bit of a body throw. I also have a down sleeping bag underneath of me. This is from Near Zero. I actually have 2 of the rectangle sleeping bags and I zip them together. Boomer loves this, so that's underneath of me. It's not going to do any properties underneath of me. The reason why I put it underneath of me is because when Boomer was up here, he got the tent mattress wet. So I threw this down just to kind of give me a barrier in between the wetness. This tent does have I want to say it's a 3-inch mattress. It's a 3-layer mattress, 3 different layers, but all together I believe it equals out to be 3 inches thick. I've got my jacket up here. I've got my down jacket up here as well. And these, the only reason why I'm bringing those up here is so I can heat them, because everything up here is going to be warm in the morning. I have my boots way down at the very end, which is right in the nozzle of the diesel heater. Drying those out, going to get nice and warm. I've got the remote for the diesel heater up here by my head, and I can actually activate that from in here with inside the tent. So in the morning, if the diesel heater's off, or if I need to turn it up, I can just simply reach up, click, or turn it down, or turn it off, whatever. That works really great. So I brought my jackets up here so I could preheat them in the morning, just like my boots down at the foot end. My water bottle, total frozen, solid ice cube. That's in front of the nozzle. That will thaw out overnight and I'll have liquid water for the morning. I even brought my coffee kit, which is actually underneath the camera right now. I got my canister stove, my pot, my cup, my coffee grinder. I plan on doing coffee right here, grinding it up, fresh coffee, probably unzip these doors so I can have a view outside. And yeah, everything went really well. The campfire was awesome, super warm. Climbed up here just in time. I didn't get cooled off or anything, and I was welcomed by a warm rooftop tent. So let me give you guys a little bit of a spin so you guys can see the view of what I'm looking at. All right, guys, so this is my POV for you guys, and as you guys can see, Boomer is down here. The reason why he's there is because the diesel heater vent, if you guys can make it out right there, that shiny thing, that's the diesel heater vent coming in behind the jackery. So I've got Boomer's sweater right there. I've got a Near Zero water bottle right there, which is solid ice. That's thawing out. I got my Columbia boots down there, which are drying out nicely. And then backing up to here, you guys will notice I do have a secondary battery unit. This is the Blue Eddy AC50B. The reason why I brought this up, and really I don't even need it right now, I had the interior lights that are built into this tent plugged into that just to see the brightness. It works really well. And I've actually routed the wire. You guys will notice there's a light strip up there. There's a cable that comes all the way down here to a pretty interesting light switch. So this does on, off, brightness, and switch lights from warm to cool. It's a USB plug, so it works really great. It does light up the tent. But right now I'm lighting up the tent with my pedal light. If I pan over here, this is the pedal light that I use very often. This is a Claris CL2. I'm lighting the tent up with that right now, just for filming purposes, but the built-in LED lights do light the tent up quite a bit. Just right now I'm filming and I need a little bit extra light. So looking over at the other side of the tent, like I said, I got my jackets here. Those will go down towards the foot end later on. Coffee kit, canister stove, pot, other battery unit, entire camera bag. I want my stuff nice and warm for in the morning. Just keep my camera kit safe. And looking right here, so this is cool. So I'm kind of slouched down right now, looking at this as if I were laying down. And you guys will notice this clear window. I have my cell phone in here. I'm going to be watching movies just like that. I'll turn it sideways, obviously. But if you have a big tablet, you can put the tablet there and hands-free lay down and watch movies through that clear window, which is awesome. I never really noticed that until now. I put my phone in there and I said, geez, you know what? I'm going to watch movies just like that. So looking at the pockets up here, we do have what I got up here is my balaclava, my toque in this pocket. Down there I have my gloves, charging cables, keys to the Jeep. Over here I've got flashlight and headlamps. Over here it's full of snacks. Embarrassed to even show that. That is full of snacks. Up here I've got some body wipes that I use before bedtime. I also have my knife up here, quick access, just in case anything happens in the night. Down here I've got some gloves tucked in that side pocket. And there is another side pocket over here as well, but the Jackery's hiding it. So there is a ton of pockets in here. And I gotta say, I'm really loving this. So switch the camera. I'll give you guys a little bit of a different view looking towards me. All right, so giving you guys a look towards me, what I'm at, because that's the kind of like the tapered end of the tent. This is the high end of the tent. So sitting up, I mean, I've got another like 1.5 feet above my head, a ton of room. This entire door opens up to a massive opening. All 3 doors are able to fit the ladder if you want to, but this door opens up underneath a huge awning. Really nice to just throw that open and have a great view outside wherever you're camped at. There is a ton of room inside of this tent. A ton of room. I'm actually really happy with it. And the fact that it opens up and closes very quickly without any hassle is 2 thumbs up in my book. Because that was the biggest problem with me rooftop tenting, having a soft shell rooftop tent. Anytime it rained or was windy or cold, I hated packing it up. Absolutely hated it. Once it was set up, loved it. Hated packing it up. This, set up, 2 seconds. Tear down, maybe 5 minutes. Awesome. And you can leave things up here as well, which is great. So I'm going to start a movie. I'm basically cozied up for the night. I got to get changed into my base layers, change my socks. That hot air is pumping in here. It's super warm right now. It's like 22 degrees in here right now, and it's like minus 10 degrees outside. Big difference. Diesel heater's running. I got it on low right now. It's on speed 2. I don't think I'll be going any higher than 2, honestly. And that'll conserve a ton of fuel as well. I'll check the fuel level. It is full when I came up here. I'll check the fuel level in the morning and see how much diesel we burnt. I'm going to say probably maybe half a tank because it is rather early. It gets dark early. It's probably about 7 o'clock right now. I'll probably burn it right till 7 a.m. till I get out. So 12 hours of burn. We'll see what it does. Right now, I will tell you on the Jackery, let me check. On the Jackery, it is only knocked off 6%. It was 100% when I came out here. And right now, it's pulling 19 watts with an estimated runtime of 74.4 hours. Just with the diesel heater. So basically pulling next to nothing. Very happy with that. So yeah, I'm going to wrap this up for tonight. Campfire's out. Dinner was excellent. I got movies that I want to watch. And Boomer he's asleep. So I'm basically here by myself. Nothing new. So I'll catch up with you guys in the morning for coffee. I'm going to be doing coffee up here. Canister stove. And I think I'm going to do things the lazy way, you know. I'm so used to roughing it in hot tents and doing things over the years. I feel that
I could be a little bit lazy this time. I'm going to do my hot coffee in the tent. Judge me. I want my hot coffee in the hot tent, okay? So I'm going to go to sleep now, or shortly. Sorry, I want to watch a movie, then go to sleep. And I'll catch up with you guys first thing in the morning. Peace out. See you for coffee. Good morning, everybody. Thanks for joining me for coffee up in the penthouse. Having a great time up here this morning. So Boomer and I are cozy warm. Man, last night it got so hot I had to turn the diesel heater down to speed 1, and my giant down sleeping bag I had on top of me as a blanket. It really wasn't zipped up at all. This thing's monstrous. Big stretch. This thing is monstrous. I do have to get it back in the stuff sack because it is taking up an absolute crazy amount of room up here in this tent, but it is super comfortable. It is snowing out right now, so I've gone ahead and shut this back door, and I've got this door shut as well, and I've got this door and mesh panel wide open. We're just chilling out, enjoying a hot coffee, watching the snow fall in this forest. Absolutely beautiful. This is what I love about winter camping. Besides the diesel heater, it is silent out here. So once that thing gets shut off, it'll be absolutely silent. Last night, a huge chunk of ice slid off the top. Once this got heated up, it slid down and smashed on the hood of the Jeep. So that kind of startled us. Well, more so Boomer. He didn't know what it was. But yeah, last night was really enjoyable. Watched a movie, fell asleep, all these lights off. Woke up this morning. This tent is so dark. I did not even know that it was 8 o'clock in the morning. No idea. I looked at my phone and I went, oh, it must be daylight. Unzipped it, it's daylight. So, very cautious with that. I've been finding with a lot of rooftop tents, they're very dark. I may have to start setting an alarm because that is a late wake up for me. So Boomer is ready to, he's ready to go. He wants to get out, he wants to jump. He knows it's snowing and he loves the snow. So he's looking to go play in the snow and chase those squirrels that we've been hearing all morning, right? Yeah. So I'm going to enjoy my coffee, get that finished up, and then I do have a pair of overalls, some snow bibs that I'm going to throw on today. So I'm still in my base layers. I'm going to throw those on. My boots are nice and warm and dry down at the foot end. His sweater is nice and warm and dry. And then we're going to start the pack up process of just getting this stuff out of the tent, down inside of the Jeep, which will be super simple. And then, yeah, we'll take the day from there. So cheers, guys. Good morning. Going to enjoy my morning coffee.
Well, here comes the snow, guys. There is a bit of a snowstorm forecasted. I would really love to stay right now, but holiday season, got places to be, and yeah, unfortunately we got to leave the forest. So it is forecasted to snow quite a bit, and as you guys can see, it's already accumulated a fair bit in just the few minutes of getting in and out of the tent and kind of moving some things around. I do have everything still up in the tent right now, so I've got to get everything out one piece at a time and then drop the tent. The tent pack up should be very quick. It's very simple, just a wedge fold design, and everything on the outside is pretty much kind of cave in on itself. I'll show you what I mean. There's a big elastic band that'll help it fold in, but the only thing that I have to do on the outside of the tent is these 4 rods that are making this nice awning, which is actually really nice because if I were standing here with the tailgate open, I'm underneath an awning without ever having to open up the awning on the Jeep. So last night it was supposed to snow, it didn't, and that's the reason why I didn't undo the awning on the Jeep, but I'm actually very happy I did not, because I would have another piece of gear to fold up and create just a lot more work to do. So the only thing I have to do right now is I'm going to disconnect the diesel heater, get that tucked back inside of the Jeep, which I can open right now. I've got some cooking things back here that I still need to kind of organize in this very large bag. And like I said, this trip was kind of last minute planned to get out here. I wasn't sure if the Jeep was ready for it. That is solidly frozen. So If you're questioning how cold it was last night, that's how cold. It actually got down to minus 14 degrees Celsius. This water jug is a brick. So, frozen, solid. Yeah, so I've got to get everything kind of configured in here. Now that I know that the tent is up to par and it works really well, the heating system works really well where that pipe is located, now I'm happy to go and push into more distant locations and kind of do more things. Now, I am out here very far. This is a service road, so there will be snowmobiles and wheelers coming out here later on today. So that's why I really want to get out of this location, off the road. That way there's no possibility of any kind of collision, because some of these snowmobiles out here go very, very fast. The Jeep has a ton of lights on it. They will see me. I just don't like being out in these areas when wheelers and snowmobiles are ripping through the snow. You never know what that person's mindset is. So, gonna get everything out of the tent, get it into the Jeep, and then I'll fold up the Jeep. I'll show you guys a little bit of that process because I know someone's gonna be interested. And then it's gonna be time to hit the trail. What? You like the snow? Boomer loves the snow. Okay. All right, we gotta get the Jeep packed up. Come on. All right, guys, so getting those rods out of there is a little difficult for me, just being my first time. Ideally, it'd be a lot easier if I just simply hung the ladder that came with the tent right here, climb up the ladder and dislodge them that way. But as you guys can see, I'm in a little bit of a rush here. So how this gets folded up, there is this strap here to pull down. I don't want to pull down on it just yet because there's this big elastic cable. And this elastic cable basically is going to snap all the material in as I collapse the tent. So I want to show it to you in real time. And this is only my second time doing this, my first time doing it while camping. So we've got that snapped like that, making sure the fabric's kind of pulled underneath to prevent any from kind of going all willy-nilly there. And then we just simply pull down, letting the air escape out of the tent as we're pulling down. As you guys can hear the air rushing out of the tent. And this is on actuators. So setting it up, it pops up and holds open by itself. And that's basically it. Now, all I've got to do is go around the edges and just gently push that material in. Also making sure that this strap is pushed in because we no longer need it. And basically latch the top. There's two latches right here that'll latch it shut. I just want to make sure that there's no fabric poking out when this giant weather seal meets the aluminum frame of the tent. So a little bit of fabric over here. Now I will say, this is a million times easier and faster than a soft shell rooftop tent. Those can take up to 20 minutes to pack away. And I'm also scooping the snow and ice off the metal, making sure that that weather seal can touch the metal and not be interrupted by any snow or ice. Now keep in mind the fabric of my tent is still brand new, so it's still creased in a way that I want it to fold out. The more times I use this, the more pliable that material will become, and it'll just tuck right under. So a couple more minutes on this side, tuck that under, latch it, and then we'll be ready to hit the trail. Alright guys, so while the Jeep's warming up and defrosting that ice and snow covered windshield, I will mention before we get out of here, the diesel heater went through about 90%. I'm very surprised by that. 90% of the fuel that was in the tank. The reason for that, I forgot last time I used it, I actually filled it half full of gasoline by mistake. Yes, it did work, but it burned the fuel very, very fast in comparison to burning diesel. I don't recommend putting gas in there. No, it did not damage it. It works totally fine, but it burns a lot faster. So when I topped it off last night, adding more diesel fuel in there, I actually mixed it with the gas, which created a faster burn because it was still gasoline in there. So it did burn 90% of the fuel in the tank. Now we're almost empty, so the next trip it'll be all diesel back in there again. And it brought the Jackery down from 100% down to 74%. That diesel heater was on last night, I want to say probably at about 5 p.m. just before dark for Boomer, all the way up until 8 a.m. actually about 9 a.m. this morning. That's a huge span to be running. So it did its job very, very well. Next time it'll be more efficient, more heat, because it'll be pumping out diesel and not mixed with gasoline. The rooftop tent is totally sealed up. One thing I am going to do is put a big fat bead of Vaseline petroleum jelly all the way around where that weather seal goes, because the last thing I want it to do is rip that weather seal when I open it up. Much like vehicle doors, when you open up your door in the wintertime, that seal can rip off if it's frozen. Put a little film of Vaseline all the way around it and it won't freeze. So that's going to be my next task. Going to get this warmed up, get Boomer in there, he's soaking wet, and then we're going to hit the trail. I'll show you guys what we're dealing with here with a few clips of driving out of here. It's snowy and these trees are starting to sag. So I'm going to jump in the Jeep, get warmed up, and then we'll head down the trail.